massage nurse. Today I'm going to be doing the axial skeleton. The axial skeleton has 80 bones and it's all in the center of your body. It's your axial skeleton. There's 126 in the appendicular skeleton. That's another video that you can go back and check out, the appendages. But 80 and 126 makes it 206 bones in the body. But today we're just focusing on the 80. So you've got your 29 skull bones, you've got your frontal, your 2 parietal, your 2 temporal, 1 occipital, 1 ethmoid, sphenoid, they're all here and all, right along behind the eyes. And then, let me see, which other one? The 14 facial bones. I'm not going to name them all, but and we don't want to draw them on him, obviously. So 14 facial bones. And then you've got 3 in each ear. And then you have your hyoid bone. Your hyoid bone is right below the mandible here. That's where your tongue sits on. And it is the only bone in your body that does not articulate with another bone. It's suspended by ligaments and tendons. So there's 29 in your skull, between your skull and your face. And obviously they protect your brain, right? So these are pretty important bones. That's why the axial skeleton protects vital organs, your brain, your heart, your lungs. So now let's go to the sternum. The sternum, right here, you've got the manubrium. This is the manubrium of the sternum, and this is like where you tie your tie. That's the manubrium. This is the body of the sternum, and this is your xiphoid process. It's a little pointing. It's like the lower part looks like a dagger. So when you're doing massage, just be very careful that you don't poke and break that little bone. Make sure you go to the sides here, okay? And then you've got 12 ribs on each side. So you've got the 12 ribs. There's 12 on each side. There's 7 true ribs and 5 false ribs. False because they don't connect directly to the sternum, as you can see here. I tried to draw this last minute because we forgot them. So anyway, they don't. These 3 do not connect to the sternum. They connect to the cartilage here of the 7th rib. So that's why they're called false ribs. And then you've got your 2 floating ones in the back. The 2 floating ones right here, 2 floating ones. So when you're massaging, if this is sharp, that's the end of the floating rib. So be careful with that, not to break these, especially in elderly people. So you have five false ribs. The 3 here that attach to by the cartilage, and then the 2 floating, okay? So that's part of the axial skeleton. They protect your lungs that are right here. This is the clavicle is not part of the axial skeleton, okay? Make sure you know that, because pay attention. These are all going to be quiz questions, test questions, which are the 7, how many true ribs, how many false ribs. So make sure you know. Okay, so now let's go to the back, and we're going to go to the 26 vertebral column ones. You have 7 cervicals, 12 thoracic, and 5 lumbar, the sacral, and then the coccyx. So let me just pull this down right there. So let's look at these right here. These are the cervicals. You've got the atlas is C1. The atlas is the one that holds your skull, so that's why it's named C1. And then the occiput right here, the articulation between the occiput and the atlas is the atlanto-occipital joint. And that's the joint where you say yes. That's the one that articulates for you to be able to say yes. Between C1 and C2, C2 is named the axis. Those are going to be test questions. C1 is the atlas, C2 is the axis. And that atlanto-axial joint is the one where you say no. No is atlanto-axial. And atlanto-occipital is the one for yes. So yeah, that atlanto-occipital articulates with the occiput and C1. You have 7 cervicals, and they're a little smaller than the rest of them. And the one that's the most bony and the most protuberant right here, that's C7. If you bend your head just a little bit, you can feel C7, okay? So when you are standing straight up, it's your cervicals and your sternum and everything is holding up your head straight. An average head weighs about 10 pounds. However, when you even look down 20%, your head doubles in weight. So now it becomes a 20-pound boulder that's being held up by muscles, not just by the bones, but by muscles. And if you really go even further down when you're looking at your phone, then your head can weigh up to 50 pounds held up by muscles, not being held up by your bones anymore. So it's very important for you to, have good, proper body mechanics when you're working, and also for you to teach your clients. So these 7 cervicals, 12 thoracic, and 5 lumbar, and you can see he's got a little bit of scoliosis. So, it goes, scoliosis is the S, okay? Scoliosis is his spine's a little bit this way. So 7 cervicals you can remember, because I know that's going to be a test question. 7 cervicals is like in a perfect world, you would have breakfast at 7 in the morning. And then 12 thoracic, that means you would have lunch at 12. And then 5 lumbar, these are the largest ones, the lumbar ones, you would have dinner at 5. So breakfast at 7, 12 at lunch, and 5 for the dinner. So that's how you remember that. And there's 26. So that includes the sacrum and the coccyx. There's 26 vertebral column bones. Okay, we didn't draw the coccyx for obvious reasons. But anyway, that's the axial skeleton. So that's going to be the 7, 12, and 5. And then the thoracic cavity. I didn't do a very good job of drawing the ribs, but I just wanted you guys to get the idea. Remember, these 2 are floating. Be careful that they're kind of sharp. They're like around right there. But that is it for the axial skeleton. There's 80 bones in the axial skeleton. It's in the middle of your body. Another lesson is the appendicular, and we do talk about those 100, the appendages, appendicular appendages. So anyway, make sure you study, and I appreciate your support. And until the next time, create a great day.